Gogeta in the title. Gogeta, Vegito, fuse, doesn't fuse. Oh my, views. Gogeta. No, we're not doing that. This is actually going to be about Omega Shenron primarily, because you might not have known this if you've been on Dokkan Twitter, but not only did a game's original, Gogeta animation get shown, him doing the Dragon Fist and all that, but we also got the Omega Shenron reveal, which we knew about, obviously. The only thing that was surprising was that it was a standalone Gogeta, sorry. So we could sort of transition away from that and move into a conversation I don't see a lot of people talking about, which is matching characters in Dokkan celebrations and why my expectations for Omega Shenron are extremely high. So let me push over to the other side of my browser here, and then we can sort of talk about what exactly I'm even talking about, right? Instead of just going, Gogeta, 5-second animation, watch, Gogeta. You've already seen that, so let's go over to the thing I'm talking about. So like I said, this is going to be a mostly, and actually, let's just start off by, if you saw the last video, which did very well, thank you anyone who watched it, anyone out there who watched it, I appreciate y'all a lot, but it did pretty well, and it was basically me saying, my plans for this part 2 celebration is to use the tickets, maybe some stones, but not all of it. I'm not going down to 0. I'm going down to maybe 1,000, so I'm maybe using 400 stones if I miss. So tickets, which in total give you a 68% chance to pull these units, I believe I saw on the timeline. So tickets, then which are free, by the way, everyone gets them, those are the free to play tickets, and then maybe some stones if both units are top tier, if they look like they are going to be devastating. And I get it. I'll be the first one to say, seeing Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and thinking, damn, I might have to skip him. That is what it is. But I do look forward to Daima. Hopefully my coins will be where they need to be to maybe get him. But it is what it is, man. I'm just gonna pull for I'm gonna use the tickets on who is the best and provides the most teams. If Gogeta comes out and his team is just fusions and it's the same fucking team that we already have 8 million leaders for, I'll probably be skipping him. You don't have to. That's all I'm saying. I'm just talking about me. I'm saying if you want to make the choice that I think is the best for your account, then you have to build teams, and Omega should be leading essentially the only real villain team this year. So yeah, I kind of have to go with that run, right? But what is this actually about? What is the Omega Shenron speculation about? So in these big celebrations, Dokkan likes to do a thing where they sort of pair up characters. This can be either in relation to the part 1, part 2 DFEs. It can be in relation to the part, just one part, which like with these guys are very similar. Their operative words here are super class though, whereas, obviously extreme class is a much worse tag this year, right? If you had this tag in 2024, this would be a different game. If this character dropped at the end of 2024, like it's not at the end of 2024, but let's say this character dropped for Golden Week in 2024, right? He would have been insane because every extreme unit that released last year was like fucking bonkers, right? A great year of extreme unit releases. Okay, so what we know from seeing this Gogeta, ad revenue, Gogeta views. I should not say views like that. That sounds like that Alex Jones bit, which is shouldn't be summoning that. But what we know from this, what we know from seeing Gogeta here, is that we're sort of looking at the potential for something actually devastating to happen in terms of Omega Shenron. And if I could pull him up quickly, there he is. And actually, let's pull up this Goku as well, because this obviously didn't end up coming to pass with Omega Shenron. The only thing you could say is that both of these characters paired in the fact that they were slot 1s. This character literally needed to be in slot 1. This character was essentially the only slot 1 for his team and had a kit that, in the best case scenario, made him a dominant slot 1. However, he did not have that best case scenario, right? We knew that. In the same way, that the Gogeta unit here and the Vegeta unit here from part 1 and part 2 of the anniversary are inarguably mirrors of one another, right? They're essentially the same character that then swap into secondary sides that, again, branch off, but essentially provide similar value. So a slot 1 Angel Goku versus a slot 1 Angel Vegeta, right? So what I'm thinking is that this is by far the best chance for Omega Shenron to be insane. And I know that, you know, we're kind of, this is very hopeful, but this is what I am hoping for. And it was much like the Gogeta where I said, listen, Gogeta might just end up being an active skill. We should go into it with the knowledge that he might just be an active skill. Not because we want him to be, but because it's better to just assume, I guess, the worst in this case, the worst quote unquote, and then be pleasantly surprised. Because look at your timeline. What happened? Everyone assumed that this was going to be an active skill. And when it was shown that he was standalone, we've all lost our fucking minds collectively, right? It's the best case scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that Omega Shenron is going to be his own shiny character. However, I would like to be pleasantly surprised by him being a mirror of a standalone Gogeta who we know will inarguably be one of the best characters in the game, because they're not going to fumble this. And you could say, well, they could fumble anything. They don't really do that with Gogeta units. Gogeta is just one of those characters where every single, and you know, I haven't been here forever in the Dokkan community, but I know this guy was insane, and we just got this guy a few years ago, and his EZA is going to be phenomenal, but we got him before. And do I still have it open? I don't seem to have it open still, but we got him before. And as we go back to cards here, even if you think that like the AGL Gogeta, you wanted them to be this or that or this or that, like AGL Gogeta is obviously one of the best supporting units in the game, essentially invincible when he's out, incredibly strong, does 1 billion damage, and is one of the fabled Festival of Battles 5. And now that, I mean, now that dodging is back, look who might start aging a little better than, you know, look who might start aging a little better than the Tech Vegeta. We don't know what the new event's going to look like, right? So I will say that, and you know, just maybe this is just me, I'm just pushing hopeful thinking out into the world. I will say that this is the single best time for them to sneak in a truly dominant Omega Shenron. As for whether this guy will come back, I'm just gonna kind of say I don't care. I see a lot of people like, oh my god, Omega Shenron, this character is actually still runnable. This character is going to still be runnable after Omega Shenron DFE drops. I don't know, maybe. The thing is, I think people are starting off on the worst foot if you're going to say you want this character to be runnable. And what do I mean by that? The thing I mean is that if we're looking at this as if like this new Omega Shenron simply has to lead GT bosses and simply has to include the Shadow Dragons in some way, aren't we dooming ourselves, right? Like, that's horrible. I would much rather it, you know, involve this character who is going to be getting a boost, and as we look over, we can see things like transformation boost. We can see things like Inhuman Deeds lead, maybe. So, let's say transformation boost in Human Deeds. Yeah, that looks good. What do you guys think? This looks good instead? Like, yeah, get the gods on there. Get I don't know. Like, do you think this looks better than GT bosses? Like, do you think maybe in Human Deeds get Rosé on there on an extreme team? Do you think that looks better than whatever bullshit people are saying about Omega Shenron's AGL variant from 2023? You think we really need this guy back as a Link? Like, I do get the idea that, like, you know, his Link set's gonna be a little awkward, but like, I don't know, man. 4 links here, 4 links here, it seems fine to me. Obviously he won't have GT activated, but he could if this character EZAs, and I think he kind of will. Whether he's GT bosses or not, I do kind of think this character is coming up on his EZA, and he's on Inhuman Deeds, and he's on GT bosses. And as we pass back over here, he's also, I assume he's on Battle of Fate, maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, he's on Battle of Fate, Please, Dokkan, make him a mirror of the Gogeta unit, so we know he will be broken. Don't make him his own special guy. Don't do the thing where it's like, oh, he has to have some kind of like funky abilities, because villains, we just need strength right now. We just need strength. We don't need funky guys. I think the worst case scenario right now as well would be him releasing and being incapable of slot oneing. Villains need more slot ones. If you thought for a second that super teams this year were having a tough time finding slot ones, having to run shit like Beast, who doesn't do any fucking damage anymore, having to run shit like UI, who doesn't do any damage anymore, having to run shit like AGL UI, who doesn't do any damage anymore, like, if you thought that was a nightmare, just imagine that they drop this character and he's a confirmed slot 2. You only have Rose to go in slot 1, and you're just like getting punished, right? So yeah, let's do a Battle of Fate. Let's do a powerful comeback. Let's do a full power. Let's maybe throw GT bosses in there somewhere, and let's get some dominant slot 1ing. We already know Gogeta's probably going to be slot 1 uncontested, slot 2 uncontested, slot 3 uncontested, supporting, critting, damage reduction, dodging, counters. Like, we get it. So you know what you should do, Dokkan, is you should do the same thing to Omega, who is going to be the DFE. Because for all the talk I'm saying about Dokkan usually doing mirroring LRs, they do have this habit of sometimes just making one of the units in a 4-unit celebration absolutely dog shit. And I would like to think it's not going to be the DFE, because villains really need it. I'm going to instead hope that we're going to get a colossal run like the... Whoa! Dokkan was cooking here. 5 units, including an LR, which was strong. This, if you want to talk about... People talk about like, oh my god, DKP's coming back. Ooh, DKP's coming back. Who cares? Shenron, that LR Shenron needs to be like Bio Broly. He needs to help out the DFE, and he needs to be incredibly dominant. This character was really good. Sometimes I shit on free-to-play cards. This card was really good. And guess what? He was the LR for the Worldwide Download Celebration, which is the celebration we're essentially in. So, Shenron, you have my hopes and dreams. Gogeta, I have no doubt you will cook, so who cares? For anyone summoning, I know you're summoning. I would suggest pulling on one, but I know I can't stop you. I'm just suggesting. I'm just putting it out. I don't think you're a bad person because you pulled. Yeah. Like, if you liked the video, subscribe to the Club. We all go make it in. Peace.